Hello and welcome back. I am continuing the series of bomb clouding against the bots. Hopefully you saw the first one. That was the first half of the beginner bots. As I continue to go beginner through master, I'll likely be playing less and less of these bots because it will take more time. Last time was successful. 10-minute games. I feel like I crushed those bots. Next 7 beginner bots. I like my odds still, even though I'm bog clouding. So let's jump right into it and see how it goes. So here the clocks have begun. Malika, I think hopefully that's being said correctly. I still got to work on my pronunciation of the bot names. Okay, we have queen being brought out early. This was something the first half of the bots did quite often, and the edge pawns being pushed. No, not like this. Okay, I'm gonna bring my knights out. And another edge pawn. What are you doing? Okay, I'm tempted to play d4. Weird to open up my king. Or sorry, open up the position with my king in the center, but I'm so developed, I'm not too worried about it. But I'm thinking a better start is knight d5. Normally, I wouldn't want to move a piece a second time in the opening without my other pieces developed. But when the queen is out early, it gives me time. It gives me an extra move. And if you leave it sitting there, I especially do not regret that decision at all. Now, instead of playing d4 right away, I'm tempted to try and fight for it a bit better with c3 just so it has that support. But knight jumps out, comes after my pawn. That is going to be annoying. So I think we employ strategy I was a fan of last video. Bring the bishop to g2. We proudly leave our king on e2 and develop otherwise. Now, this pawn hasn't been pushed. I would like the bishop on g2. But in the previous video, there were some annoyances with bishop g4. So I'm actually going to play bishop h3 just to contest. Yeah, contest this bishop. Let's get it out of here. I don't want to deal with any bishop g4. Thank you. Thank you very much. Pleasure doing business with you. Okay, and now we have the next stage. I'm up material. We continue our development. Bring the pieces into the game, all of them. Unless I just get an easy checkmate, but okay. We're also given some free pawns. Why not take those on our way to developing? You know, it's like, and now I'm somehow the one checking. Cool. Okay, I think a good way to try and bring the rooks into the game is actually going to be through the B file. Not too upset about this trade, especially since I can take another pawn. The greed is settling in, and I am quite happy. I'm happy taking these pawns. Okay, I should be a little careful. My queen doesn't have the most squares, and that would just be embarrassing if I got my queen trapped. Actually, before we move that rook, I think we continue. We're gonna keep pushing these pawns, put our rooks behind them. Now either I'm gonna get some real I'm getting some solid pass pawns. I was gonna say either you let my rooks into the game, or these pass pawns are going to be an absolute nightmare. Give me the fork. Give me the fork. Ooh, I could take and get a queen. And I'm gonna do that. Even though my queen is being attacked. You can have it. I already have another one. Okay, we're gonna quickly throw this threat so that the way is cleared. And we're actually gonna get a third rook because I think it's funny. Why not? Why not have 3 rooks? When you have a chance to have 3 rooks and deliver a nasty checkmate, why not? Why not have 3 rooks? Oh my goodness. Just get out of here. Get out of here. But thank you, bot. Thank you for the game. Okay, now we are on Aaron. Now I'm all in my head about how you say names. I'm like, is it Aaron? Like Aaron? Aaron? Okay. We're keeping with the BONGCLOUD. We got a French. We have a French BONGCLOUD. The first, outside of the E4 games, actually one of the first openings, like actual openings that I've seen. Okay, but we have some pawn pushing. Now, I'm gonna play E5. I'm saying this knight basically doesn't have great squares to go to. And instead of playing D4 first, play E5, gain a tempo, play D4. It's very solid, so gaining this space, this should not be any sort of overextension. Should just be solid. Okay, bishop out. Now I want to get this bishop. I'm thinking to D3 so we can attack the king over here. That looks like a very takeable bishop. Very takeable. Triple pawns. Oh my goodness. Aaron, not the triple pawns. You want so much better than this. G5? Don't push the pawns in front of your king when you have no pieces around to defend it. Yes, sometimes we push pawns in front of kings. That's what I'm doing with the BONGCLOUD. But not when your opponent has all these pieces and you got a rook. The rook's going to hold down the fort. This is so questionable. I think I can just sacrifice, bring the queen into the game. Good luck. Good luck defending. Okay, this looks like, maybe we take with check, actually. We're going to take with check. Now we bring the bishop into... Also, these pawns are terrible. Because it's not just that Aaron doesn't have any pieces over here. These pawns actually are kind of blockading the pieces from getting over. And now we already have an easy checkmate. Knight takes g5, I'm guessing was the one brilliancy there. Let's go. Come on, Aaron. You're better than that. Okay, Janjay. Again, don't hate me if I mispronounce these names. It's never been my specialty. Again, another early queen out. That's not the strategy. What is this? You're not gonna checkmate me with I got my squares covered. I am solid. Okay, I think in this case we're actually gonna break open the center a bit faster. Queen is there, the lack of development is there. I think I could actually create some good threats. Okay, that check is just not it. Oh, wait a second. Hold, I see you with a pin. Hold on. What are you doing? That's very rude. The bot actually made a sort of annoying threat. Okay, but discovery. Move the knight, open up the threat of the bishop, and I'm hitting this pawn too. So the queen was the only defender, and if it moved, just absolute toast. Okay, I mean, this is why we played knight d5. That's why we're gonna lock that in. And I'm just gonna keep taking stuff. Queen's protecting, the knight's there. Ooh, and there's a fork. Okay, this is a very long distance fork, but queen a5. Always be aware of your checks. Always be aware of them. You never know when a nice check is gonna come to life. And rook in the game. Bishop in the... Oh, wait, we can take... That's a piece. No, bishop in the game. That's a check. Okay, I was also hoping for some tricky... tricky traps with king e7. But nothing. Okay, so now I'll take the free bishop. It's fine. All the pieces coming together. Let's bring this knight back into play. And now I'm just breaking through. Have the rook. It's fine. Threatening checkmate. Threatening checkmate. And actually, the knight checkmate has to be better. Knight takes h7. That felt good. I like that game. All right, we continue. Mina. I'm just happy if I got one of the names correct with my awful pronunciation and understanding. Okay, that's a checkmate threat, but we're easy defense. And now we go after the queen again. Yeah, that's don't bring the queen out too early. Okay, I'm gonna break open the center again. When I'm this active, still need to be careful, by the way. F3 keeps us solid. I played this before, these BONGCLOUD openings. I'm actually pretty happy with the king on f2. I think a lot of it's because this bishop, like these bots aren't getting this bishop. They're not opening them. They're putting pawns on d6. They're leaving pawns on g7. And if this bishop is bad, then I kind of want my king on dark squares rather than light squares. You know, because this bishop's the one opening, and that's where I think the one thing I'm often having to be careful of is this bishop on a light square. Because, yeah, a lot of vulnerability with my king on e2. Okay, we're still going to, like, really solidify these dark squares, even though the king's feeling pretty safe. And now we're going to bring the bishop this way. And some of these I put the bishop on g2, but because I have really these pawns, f3 and e4 there, I'm not looking to play f4. Let's leave this bishop a little bit more open over on c4. Ooh, now the moment of truth. I don't dislike either capture. Normally I wouldn't bring the queen out with still some development that could go after the queen, but I'm not seeing how these pieces bother my queen at all. So I think it's a good time. It's a very good time to bring the queen out. If g5's the next move, yeah, that's a takeable rook. Although going for the queen trade, not a bad idea. Because now I'm on the attack. Mina here immediately let my queen into the game. That's the danger zone. Okay, castling. Hold on. We got a castle queenside. And I'm up a lot of material, but still should be a little careful. Already, bishop takes g5, queen d4 check. That would be a fork. But maybe not the end of the world, because I'm going to be taking this rook, which is the protector of this bishop. And but I have to be careful of some discovery ideas against my queen. I want to keep queens on the board. I would love to, but let's just avoid any discovery ideas. And now bishop takes g5. This rook is trapped. It is not going anywhere. Those bishops are completely locking it down. So I'm going to take the time to save my knight. Now we take. And now, winning material, we bring the pieces in. Get my rooks ready to go. I want them in the center of the board because that's where the king is. And we smash through. Okay, well, if you don't take, then the pawn is going to be pushing. Bishop h8. What a move. So I have options here. I can win the bishop, or I can try to solidify this pawn. like here and then bring the knight around. Actually, maybe it's better to bring the bishop here because then it could slide away and the rook actually, I like that. Bishop protects. Bishop slides, still protecting. Do we care? We do care a little bit. We do, you know, we might as well. We care a little bit. Going after my knights, but we're gonna throw some tricks. Rook here, it is takeable, but then that would be checkmate. And now finally get the rook into the game. Promote the pawn. Don't stalemate. I think check here. And actually, let's go for... I allowed a check. Ah! Definitely a faster checkmate there somewhere. That will do it. That will do it. Not a bad game. Mina showed up there. We have 3 more bots. The rating increase just hit. So Zara 850 here. We are continuing our progress up through the bots. Oh, F5. Okay, normally I would say this is a pretty questionable move. You have to be careful of pushing the F pawn. Feingold is the one that is most famous for saying never play F3 or F6. Now, of course, there are situations where we do this, but the truth behind it is the F pawn, since most of the time our king's here or we're castling and our king is here, the F pawn is the one consistent pawn for defending our king, so we should be careful. I'm committed to BONGCLOUDing, though. I almost always would take, but let's take it even... I was going to say, let's take it even a step further. Allow f takes e4. That is a bad inclusion. And go from there, but no capture. No capture. In this case, instead of taking, I think I'm going to play e5. Try to keep the center closed down just a little bit. Keep a better control since my king is on e2. Okay, now we're really fighting for these squares. This pawn is hanging, so let's solidify it with b3. And I think this is actually the first time I've done it. Fianchettoed this bishop. But we have this super nice, super solid structure here. Okay, again, I'm not looking to open up the center right now. Sometimes I have done it, but usually when I do it, even with my king in the center, it's because the development is good. My development is still lacking. So let's keep the center closed, keep my king safe. What is king f7? What are you copying me? It's my idea. Get your own idea. Stop doing this. This isn't the first bot to do this either. Okay, I maybe rushed with that. I actually, my faith in the bot was lacking. That I fully expected king g6 after the check. That is a more reasonable move. But I did have a follow-up idea. Knight e6 is jumping in. And I was going to say queen e8. I then fork the rook and the queen. But, okay, g5. I just take the queen. Real easy. Real simple. Okay, I want to destroy. I just should calm down, though. Follow through. Let's develop pieces. Okay, well, we're going to take the time to fork some knights. Yeah, you're going to fork some knights. And okay, let's open up this bishop, open up the queen, get the king out of this file. I do want a rook there at some point. Okay, let's take with the bishop. I don't want the bishop being threatened after the capture happens. Now, again, I opened up my queen, so this feels fantastic. Not completely done. I'm thinking about takes. There's this potential for this. This is something I think about a lot. I try to pay attention to things that are hanging in the position, which already there's a lot for my opponent, as well as things being attacked and defended the same amount of time. So this bishop's being attacked once, defended once. That tells me if I can just add one attacker, it's ready to fall. And not only is this ready to fall, but that's the king. That's the king, and I wanna take the king. So I could take here. That seems pretty solid, but I think we go after the king. Open up this bishop. Yeah, now we're cruising. And of course, bishop couldn't take because that was bent. Okay, take the rook with check. Take the bishop with check. Take the other rook just because we're at that point now. And now, like usual, let's bring our pieces in. In this case, we probably don't need it. Like, this is so much material. We could do this checkmate with lesser or with less pieces, but it is just so effective to bring all the pieces to the party. Okay, no, I see the checkmate. We get the trap of the king with the two rooks. This rook protected, cut off, and a little chomp on the king there. Okay, very good. The bots are going up in rating, but the BONGCLOUD's still working very, very well. Santiago says buenos dias. Well, good morning. Okay. Okay, we got another French. Bishop d6, highly questionable. Blocking the pawn. Definitely feels like it's time to take that central control. Once again, we're bringing out the knights. A little hesitant to bring this knight out because it could get attacked. Makes me think about playing h3 first. But maybe it's no big deal because if g4, I jump in, threatening the pawn, and overall pretty happy. Okay, now we're going down a dangerous alley with this d5. But I'm seeing just the potential tactics with queen d4 going after this rook. If the knight jumped around, I could still keep kicking it. And, of course, my opponent is going to leave it sitting there. So my king could have opened, but again, I feel like I'm pretty well developed. My opponent is in Santiago, has not developed properly, so it felt pretty safe, and just those opening of the tactics felt really nice. I'm a lot more inclined to push these pawns against these knights if I just feel like the knight doesn't have a great square to go to. You know, so the fact that like knight b4 runs into a3 is definitely a huge boost for me. Okay, now we're back to our development. We're being reasonable. Ooh, f6. Immediately I'm thinking about how do I take advantage of this. I'm going to drop the king back. Let's open up the queen. Hopefully we can get some tactics going pretty soon. And I think here it is. Jump the knight in. We're creating some threats. Give me queen h5. Oh, you, my friend, are playing a dangerous game. King d7. Makes me want to sacrifice my knight just to really open up the position. I think it's worth it. But it's not necessarily checkmate, right? Like I take, king takes, and I have a check. King d7, I have another check. But part of the issue is this bishop's still on c8. Now it feels really bad right now. But bishop, it's still a light square bishop, so I have to respect the fact that that bishop could quite quickly and easily help defend, as well as this queen could sneak over to some light squares. So as much as I want to sacrifice, I think I'm going to drop back. Now, this isn't a complete done and dusted. I mean, I wanted to play bishop c4 anyways. But yeah, this knight c5 potential, especially with the rook jumping in, which I'm going to do now. And now, oh, look at this. We waited on the sacrifice, but now everything's opening up beautifully. Give me the queen. Let's create some threats with the queen. You don't just leave it hanging out on h5. That is our most powerful piece. I'll take that rook. Jump the knight in. Okay. I want to take, say the king is distracted, but it opens up the defense against another defender for this bishop. So I'm not quite winning that piece like that. Might be time to bring the rook in. Oh, shoot. Okay, I did allow bishop takes g2 there, which would have been really annoying because rook d1, the move I'm going to play, would have been hit by bishop f3 in that case. So that was a little bit of a slip on my part. Got a little too comfortable being the attacker that I forgot the opponent. Santiago here could throw a threat back at me, but okay, look, now the rook's in the game. How everything's opening up. I'm taking this pawn, but it's more about the check. And we're in our last few moments here. King on a5. Give me a double checkmate. Santiago, GG. That felt pretty solid. Okay, we are on our last beginner bot, Kareem. Let's see what Kareem has. Another f5. Okay, we were committed to king e2. This time we get take. Okay, so it's definitely the worst opening for me. So 2 moves in, and definitely the worst move or opening for me thus far against any beginner bot. We have to fight for the center. We cannot. Well, it is h6. Oh my goodness, h6. You were doing so well. Your opening was beautiful. Okay, I am so tempted to try and get queen h5 because that would be checkmate. But knight f6 defends it quite easily. So let's stay reasonable. We're going to take that pawn. We're then going to go for the threat with queen h5. Yeah. Normally, I wouldn't move my king again this early, but it's just that powerful of a threat. It's also worth noting if knight f6, because I took, now I have e5 going after the knight. So it's not just like a ha going for a dumb threat. This is a actual like very serious idea. Okay, so I have bishop g5. This pawn is pinned. So taking would give me the exchange. I think that's what I'm going to do. That's just, it's too effective. If the knight blocks, we again have e5. King moves, we take the queen. So everything working out very nicely for me. So I will have to be a little bit careful. My queen is lacking squares, but it is difficult for the bot to attack my queen. So it should be pretty safe. That's not a bad threat though. Hold on. Calm yourself. I'm gonna defend that pawn. Not today. But kind of annoying. Bringing that's actually a good way to activate the queen. I'm still gonna attack it, so it's not a perfect science, but a much better way than a lot of these bots where they've been bringing them to squares that my knights, my bishops can attack. Okay, I'm gonna keep going after this queen though. As I say it, I win the queen. It's still something to be careful of. It was the better square. It was harder for me to attack. It came with a threat, but there still is. You just have to be so careful of bringing your queen out. Now, again, let's continue with the development, although I probably should have just taken the free pawn. And now I'm going to take the free pawn. It also comes with a mate threat now. Oh, knight b7. Oh, I was only thinking about bishop e7, which would hang the knight. That's a better move. That's actually, yeah, I probably should have just taken the bishop. It's fine. I'm still up so much material. We're going to actually sacrifice, just relieve that threat against the queen. And we get the knight in now. Much easier. We take the bishop. Everything should be pretty smooth sailing. Okay, we're going to start with this check. See where the king goes. Because if the king goes here, then I can take the knight. And the bishop was pinned. King goes there. Now I get this check, and I'm actually taking this bishop. No knight capture for you. Not today. It's my knight. Cannot have it. Okay, this is a sneaky trick actually. If pawn takes, that would be a checkmate on c7. Of course, not gonna take it. How do we finish this off though? How do we finish this one? Okay, I think let's go knight check here. Yeah, if king went there, I'm taking, I'm checkmating. King drops back now, check here. The reason I wanted the knight here, b6 gets checkmated, king b8, we get queen b6 threatening it, and the final touch, knight c6 check, queen d8, checkmate. 3 misses! Oh my gosh. Apparently my play is not the best in that game. Not the best. Okay, because this is the end, that was the final beginner bot. We made it through all of them alive. Let's just do a quick check to see. Oh, okay, now it changed it to 1 miss. It says king e2 was my 1 miss. It's not hating me as much. Whew, okay, so it wasn't that bad. King e2, of course, yeah. Don't judge me. Don't judge me. This is part of BONGCLOUDing the bots. Overall, again, some consistencies on the first beginner bots. But the next video, we hit intermediate. So hopefully these bots start challenge me a little bit more. Even though I'm playing a terrible opening, I'm still following the opening principles. I'm keeping my king safe. I'm developing my pieces. I'm fighting for the center. And they're breaking them, bringing the queen out early, pushing pawns on the side instead of fighting for the center, moving pieces multiple times. Start with a bad opening, but if you understand how to play the opening, it is so much more effective. Everyone, thank you so much for watching. Hope to see you next time where I take on the intermediate bots and start into the intermediate bots. Until then,